Okay, it's Father's Day, 2025, and my son sent me a ribeye for Father's Day, and we're gonna get this cooked up today. It's from Wild Fork. If you've ever heard of Wild Fork or have not, they're an online food supplier and that specializes in meat. I think they claim to have over 700 different meat products, just meat products online. So their claim to fame is variety. They have a variety of different types of meat, but they ship this frozen. What he sent is something neither of us have ever tried before, which is it's a bone-in beef tomahawk ribeye. And this thing is 2 pounds, and so it's a huge steak. And of course, a portion of that is the bone. But a lot of meat here. We're going to cook it up on the pellet grill today, and I'm going to use just some traditional cooking style that I use, seasoning and the way I'll sear this meat. It's a thick cut, so I'm gonna sear it quickly, lock in as much flavor and juices as I can on all sides, and then finish the cooking process and get it up to temperature, and then we'll try it out. So I'm making this video for my son. I'll send it directly to him as soon as we get done. So that's the plan for today. Stick around. So Wild Fork ships its meat products in dry ice. So I have used their products once before, and they always ship in dry ice. But essentially it was completely frozen when it arrived, and I pretty much let this thing fall. I think it's completely thawed out. So I'm just sort of drying it off and trying to get it prepped for the cooking process, getting as much of this moisture off as I can. Hopefully we won't lose too much heat when we toss it on the grill. It also has, this particular one has quite a bit of fat. You can see here. I'm gonna trim this up a little bit and kind of clean up some of this fat. We definitely don't want all of that on here. So we'll do that next, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've removed quite a bit of the fat. Don't want to remove all of the fat, or else it wouldn't be ribeye. So there is some fat remaining. You can see. We'll try to reduce it the best we can on pellet grill. So next we're going to coat this nicely with using olive oil. And that'll just serve for the seasoning I'm gonna put on here, and I'll show you that next. So I think I've decided, instead of olive oil, I've decided I'm gonna use grapeseed oil, and the reason is because this has a higher heat range than olive oil, and I'm really going to be putting some high heat on this cut. Again, remember, the goal is to get a good sear on this cut, and that's going to require a lot of heat. I also mentioned seasoning I use. I've been using this Bosari seasoning for number of years. It's one of my favorites. Kind of a basic blend of spices, primarily salt and pepper, but there's some other spices in here. This is the original flavor. They make different blends. This is out of New York, I think, state of New York. But this is what I'll be using to season, and that's it. That's the dressing that'll be applied to this cut of meat, and so we're gonna go ahead and do the oil first, and again we're just gonna rub this over every surface, because I'm gonna try to sear this this cut on all sides. So I really need to make sure that you know, I'm seasoning it on all sides. I've got oil on all sides for the sake of trying to get a good brown as well on all different sides. So, doesn't take a ton of oil, but you do want to make sure it's you know, pretty well coated. And then we'll use the Vasari. I think this little container is just about out. I think I pretty much have one more use out of this. I'm gonna have to get some more of this. But we'll put this all over on every side and just make sure that there's a good coating of Vasari seasoning. Yeah, I'm going to go around the edges as well. Again, I'm going to try to sear every side of this cut, or at least the best I can do in that regard. Reality is it gets kind of difficult on the grill to hold it in place over high heat, and to really get a good sear everywhere you need it, or you know, you would like to have it, like on these ends. You know, it'd be great to be able to sear this up nicely on all sides. So just as I expected, I used every bit of the remainder of that Vasari seasoning. I'm just going to rub the surface of my cutting board here and try to pick up any loose bits. Get as much of that as I can. All right, I'm gonna let this sit for probably about 30 minutes before I put it on heat. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we're at 156 degrees. Internally, goal is to get this up to, well, hopefully we can get it to 550. That's going to be the goal. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see the temperature gauge on camera, but we just crossed the 500 degree threshold. So we're going to give this a couple more minutes, try to get it up to really as close to 550 as we can. You can see it's already at 520, 522. We've got our meat thermometer in place. We'll be monitoring that. We're going for a medium internal temperature of between 140 and 150. So interesting enough, you can see it just jumped to something's not registering correctly with the temperature. So that'll probably, there it's coming back down. I don't know why it does that sometimes. This is, I've had this Oklahoma Joe's smoker grill for about 4 years now. It's taken me a few years to learn how to properly use it, but and get familiar with it. But it's been a reliable workhorse. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this meat on the grill. I've got it set to sear, so this grill will do sear or smoke. The sear setting, it just provides a little more direct flame to the cooking surface. So we're pretty hot, and I usually try to keep the lid shut as much as possible to keep the temperature up, because as soon as I drop this steak on, the temperature is going to drop. It's going to drop pretty significantly. So I want to retain that temperature as much as possible. So I'm just going to close the lid back for a while, and we'll watch and see what the temperature does here now that that's on there. So I'll let that go for a couple of minutes, then we'll let it sear on one side, and then we'll flip it and try to get all sides fully seared. Okay, so we're gradually working our way back up to 500. The trick to doing this with the lid closed is that you can't really monitor the flame flare-ups quite as well, so you just kind of have to check on it periodically to make sure that your meat's not on fire. So I just flipped it over. We've got a little bit of sear ground on the side. Well, more than a little. It's not fully seared like I would like it, but I think it's got a good crust starting to develop on that side. Try to get a better one on the other side, but I'm going to go ahead and close the lid back. Our temperature's down to 400. We've got some flames, but I think it's fine. Okay, we're about 10 minutes in overall cooking time on the flames. Just going to check this, see how we're doing. We're going to move it over off of the direct flame. Our internal temperature is about only 67 degrees, so we've got a ways to go. But don't want to char it. Okay, so my meat probe malfunctioned in the middle of cooking, so I've had to switch over to a handheld probe. I just probed it. The meat, it's right under 100 degrees internal at this stage, so we've got a little ways to go. I wanted you to see the nice sear that's starting to show up on the surface here. The steak starting to look real nice. Stay tuned. Okay, so my intention is to spend the last few minutes cooking at a lower temperature, and the way I'm adjusting for that is that I'm just leaving the lid open on the grill, which automatically reduces the heat. Try to get that internal temperature where I need it to be. I feel like the sear on this steak is excellent. It doesn't need any more. So we're just trying to get the internal temperature up to where we like it, and where we like it to be, which will be a nice medium rare steak. Okay, so our Wild Fork bone-in ribeye has had about 20 minutes or so to settle down after coming off the grill, and so we're now ready. We're going to cut into this and see what it's looking like on the inside. And I think this little area here has a lot of fat content, so let me cut in here first and see what we're looking like. So remember, we went for a medium, but as one could expect, some of the thinner areas and the outside perimeter areas probably cooked a little bit longer than medium, and that's what we're seeing here. So this first cut looks medium well. But let me show you here what we got. You see that? Super tender. Oh yeah, real good. Excellent. Okay, so the next step is to get this fully dressed on a plate, and we'll give you a final presentation look when we get there.